2021, the last day of the month in this year, and looking forward to our agenda that Somesh has sent us, and at this stage I think I hand over to Monica. Monica, you're taking on the role of providing us with I'm not sure what the title is, but that you're taking on the next role.
Okay.
Yes. That's the table topics session.
Table topics session.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So are we going to start now?
Yeah.
Please go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Delma, Scrum Master, today. Okay. So I have a couple of questions. I like to ask. Shaban, the question is, what's one of the most interesting adventures in your life?
Thank you, Monica. Well, life is just one great big adventure, isn't it? It certainly has been for me. I've had many, many different adventures. And one that stands out is in my 20s, I decided that I wanted to go to live in Japan. I knew very little about Japan. I was fascinated by the country. And so I bought a book. I began to learn a little bit of Japanese, and I realized that possibly the worst thing that could happen would be that I would end up in a little village in the mountains in Japan, because I only discovered through the books that Japan is 77% mountainous. Mm-hmm. And I might end up the mountains speaking very little Japanese with people who didn't speak any English. And I thought, well, maybe if I bring enough books, I'll survive it anyway. So I really, really wanted an adventure, and I went. And I have to say, my worst case scenario never materialized. I ended up in a fantastic, fabulous city called Fukuoka. I made amazing Japanese friends. I developed a love of Japanese food. I experienced some of Japanese culture that I think is just amazing to this day. And I stayed for 3 years and found it difficult to leave after the 3 years. But at that stage, I thought it's a choice between staying for good or leaving now. Japan was definitely one of the greatest adventures of my life. But as I said, Monica, every day is a wonderful new adventure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shaban. Very good. Very interesting also. Okay, the next question is for Somesh. What's the main learning that you have got from Master Toast?
Thank you very much, Madam Topics Master. You're referring to Toastmaster, is it?
Toastmasters, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes. No worries. Master Toast is good as well, I think. It's an interesting twist on
another level.
Learning. I joined Toastmasters end of 2014. And always, every meeting has been a learning. Every time when I am speaking or taking a role, even though it might feel monotonous, but it is not actually, because every time, depending on how much involvement we put into the role, we can learn even more. Every time we can keep learning. This is the biggest thing of Toastmasters, I would say. We always keep learning. The learning never ends. What we learn is how to speak, how to put our thoughts into words, how to express ourselves, how to lead. What is leadership? Leadership is actually influencing people rather than an authority or title. It's actually how the people can be influenced. Anyone and everyone is a leader. If we have a family, if we have a sibling, even if we have our parents, not even siblings, if we have parents, and everyone is unique, even though a child might be small, but the child has his own perspective. And that perspective sometimes could actually be better than the perspective of the parent because they're looking from a different set of eyes. So a child could influence a parent in a good direction, and the child could become the leader of the parent. So all these things, I think the leadership and communication and everything else is really something that can be learned at every moment. And Toastmasters provides that wonderful platform for us to practice. So that has been my learning. Every moment has been my learning. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Somes. Yeah, my next question is to Delma. So, what's one of the life advices that you could give to young women?
To who? Who? Give advice to who?
Sorry?
Could you say that again, please?
Oh yeah, sorry. That what's the life advice that you would like to give to the young generation of women?
Generation. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, I work as a psychotherapist, so I sometimes see younger people, and very often people think that when difficult things happen at the beginning of their lives, that is going to mar them in problems forever. And what we have to take on board and realize is that living in the moment, whether it be good or bad, is the essence of how we are as human beings. That our job in life is learning to love ourselves and then love everyone else. But the first priority is loving ourselves, and that may sound selfish because we're told love everyone as we love ourselves, and that implies that we've to put everyone else before ourselves. But unless you are a wise parent for yourself and develop that inner voice where you are like a wise parent making good choices for yourself, you won't be able to, you won't be properly centered in the world. And that's a lifelong learning all the way through, that we need to take care of ourselves in the first place and then take care of others. I think that's all I need to say.
Very good. Thank you very much, Thelma. Anna.
Actually, Siobhan has her hand raised as well.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't see that. Yeah. Go ahead, Siobhan.
Okay. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Monica. Yes, just something that Delma said there brought back memories of my own childhood. And I was taught in a Catholic school. And it only occurred to me in my 20s how one of those teachings had really seriously, negatively impacted on my life. And that was that teaching to love your neighbor as yourself. It wasn't so much that teaching as how it was taught, And unfortunately, the emphasis was put on loving your neighbor. And the last part was almost glossed over and left out. And it wasn't until my 20s that I really came to truly understand that expression and to notice that we can't love somebody else as ourselves unless we love ourselves first. And it's such a subtle difference in a way, but the fact that it was glossed over had a deep impact on my teenage years, certainly, and into some of my 20s. But it's definitely taught me to be a little bit more explicit about ensuring that the attention is put on the end part of that first. The end part of that sentence actually comes first. Love your neighbor as yourself. As yourself, love your neighbor. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Do we still have time for Anna question?
We could have one more topic.
Yeah. Okay. For Anna is which travel or country would you like to visit when the pandemic is over?
Thank you very much, Madam Topics Master. Oh, it's a difficult question for me at the moment because before the pandemic actually started, I was traveling around Europe. So I visited a number of different countries. But unfortunately, because of the pandemic, our trip was cut short. And we actually had to come back to Ireland because of the situation at the time. We were in Finland when it happened. And I definitely would love to go back in that direction. I'd love to go up to Sweden, go up to Norway, Denmark as well, because we didn't get a chance to do it at the time. We had to drive back, and unfortunately the only way to drive back at the time was through Estonia, so the same way as we came to Finland in the first place. So definitely Scandinavia, those regions, I was absolutely in awe of everything in Finland. I loved it. It was spectacular, and the way people live their lives there, it's completely different to what any of us knows, even though it's not really that far from us. It's just completely different. I would love to live there for a while to experience it for myself. Thank you very much, Madam Topics Master.
Thank you. Now, I think we go back to our Toastmaster.
Is it for me? Okay. At this point, I think we make our speeches. And I invite you, Monica, to go next, or would you prefer if I did?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Would you prefer if I went ahead? Okay. Okay.
Actually, Delma,
Yep.
because you are giving the speech, I can introduce you.
Okay. Okay. Right.
Just for this part, I can introduce you.
Okay.
I'll just look at your speech title.
Okay.
The Importance of Our Oceans.
Mm-hmm.
Delma Sweeney.
Thank you.
Please welcome to the virtual stage. The Importance of the Oceans.
Thank you. Planet Earth, our home, is 70% covered by ocean. The Pacific Ocean is the largest ocean on the planet and is larger than all the land on Earth. Life in the sea is highly diverse as well. The largest creatures that ever lived, the blue whale, a mammal, is rarely seen by humans and only when it surfaces to breathe. Its tongue is as big as an elephant. Its heart is the size of a 10-ton army truck. You can swim in its arteries. It's enormous, really huge. This is one of the many wonderful creatures in the sea. Seagrass is the only plant that lives in the ocean. Through photosynthesis, it produces 10% of the world's oxygen. The smallest algae in the ocean are microscopic phytoplankton, and they produce up to 70% of the Earth's oxygen. Between the phytoplankton and the seagrass, they make up 80% of our oxygen on land. We hear about the Amazon forest and the forests in the world and how important they are, but I do not think that people realize the importance of the ocean in the creation of oxygen. Photosynthesis is a chemical reaction which makes life-giving oxygen and glucose. Oceans are the largest carbon sink on Earth. This means they absorb carbon dioxide. And since the Industrial Revolution, humans have burned vast quantities of fossil fuels. And as a result, the oceans have absorbed these carbon emissions. Now we're at a point where the oceans cannot absorb any more, and the Earth has become unbalanced. The carbon dioxide in the oceans is now creating carbolic acid, and that means the oceans are turning acidic. Acidity is killing the phytoplankton and the seagrass and the life in the oceans, and the balance between carbon dioxide is rapidly changing, threatening all life on Earth, including ourselves. This is one element of what's happening with our oceans at the moment. Plastic pollution, debris, contamination in the seas comes from human activity on land. A lead researcher in this field says plastics are in the air, in the water, in the seafood we eat, the beer we drink, the salt we use. The plastics are just everywhere. Microplastics have been found in the Arctic and Antarctic from every part of the various oceans. It takes 1.85 gallons of water to manufacture the plastic for one average commercial bottle of water. And when a diver goes diving, he or she is doing this in plastic soup. Ingestion of plastic is a major problem for many sea creatures because they mistake the plastic for food. It lodges in their stomach, fills them up, and they starve. So we really have to do something about plastic. We are frequently urged to stop destroying the planet. However, it's not the planet that's at risk, it's ourselves. If humans become extinct, the planet will recover in a couple of million years. The planet will last until the sun turns into a great red star, grows and engulfs the Earth. The planet will survive. It's not the Earth that's in danger, but life on planet Earth. As the Earth's natural balance is changed by human behavior, life on Earth will become extinct. And that includes ourselves. Now, change is happening. We can save the world. We can do it because we have the technology. We have the scientists, the engineers, and it's already happening. The ocean cleanup in the middle of the Pacific is happening now. It was started by a 15-year-old Dutch boy, Boyan Slat, who developed the technology. He is now 22 years old and running the company which takes plastics out of the Pacific. He's also starting programs to clean rivers. We need to change our thinking and behavior to save our oceans. Other new inventions are coming on stream. Biofuels, roads that soak up carbon dioxide, wind power, underwater turbines, solar planes, cars, solar cells, and solars in deserts. We need to demand that producers produce responsible goods. We have a duty of care to create zero plastic waste. We need healthy oceans because oceans supply 80% of Earth's oxygen and are home to millions of species of incredible animals. This is what we can do. Educate the younger generation, be a better consumer, think before you buy, refuse to buy plastic, and stop using fossil fuels. That's me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Delma. Excellent speech. I think we can give 1 minute so that we can give feedback directly to Delma on her speech. Okay. Over to you, Delma, to introduce Monica and her speech.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Monica, let me see. I don't know the topic of your speech, Monica. I should look it up. Hold on.
Day of the Dead, I think.
Let me see. I'll have a look.
Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead. Okay.
Yeah.
You're speaking on Day of the... I'd like to introduce Monica, who's going to speak on Day of the Dead. Hand over to you, Monica.
Thank you very much, Delma. Yeah, the Day of the Dead is a very famous tradition in Mexico. It was originated with the Aztecs, a pre-Hispanic culture more than 3,000 years ago. And it basically represents the time when the families can meet the spirit, can meet in spirit with the souls of the loved ones. And also is a celebration of life. Not also the life in the earth, sorry, it's also the life after death. The main celebration is the 2nd of November for all souls, but also the 1st of November is a celebration for the children's souls. For the celebration, the families prepare a very colorful altar at home and also in the grave. I remember my grandma used to prepare both altars at home and also in my uncle's grave. And Also, all this preparation brings the family together. The kids can participate to prepare all this altar. Also, all the family can be included there. And I remember, I'm going to tell you how we used to prepare our altar in Mexico. So for that, we will need a table, basically a big table, some big boxes to put one at the top of the other, a big tablecloth, basically a white one, mainly a white one. Then we put some flowers around the altar, but not any flower. It is a special flower for this occasion, which is called the Flor de Cempasúchil in Spanish, or is also known as a marigold flower, I think. This is a kind of a yellow-orange flower with a lot of small petals. So we used to take all the petals to put all around the altar, spread all of them, and we put candles. So the candles and the flowers have a special meaning, which is just leading the souls to their old homes and to meet with the ones that they love. So also we use some tissue paper. We cut some figures on the tissue paper with different colors and putting a thread on the walls or on the ceiling, just to give more colorful color to the altar. Also, another important thing is preparing different dishes. No, so the dishes are the ones that that person used to enjoy at life. No, so those are a lot of Mexican dishes with corn, beans, meat. So we used to prepare 3 or 4 of those dishes and put them in the altar, like an example of them in a plate. Then we put water and their favorite drinks, also juice, alcohol, beer, all the things that he likes. So, candies. There are some special skulls made from sugar, white sugar, and just decorated with different lines all around the eyes and the mouth, and flowers in the head. Very colorful. Also, this could be chocolate skulls, and we put them also in the altar, on the altar. And another typical thing to do is we bake a bread, which is a very fluffy sponge and orange and vanilla flavor. And this is just to prepare it for this specific day. And it's very yummy also eating this with hot chocolate or with some coffee. But at the moment, everything is there in the altar. This is prepared usually one day before the 2nd of November or the 1st of November. Other things that can be added to the altar are the games or toys, if that was a kid, an altar for the kid. So put all those things also in the altar and put the photograph or a picture, portrait of the deceased. So we left all this preparation for one day. Then the 2nd of November in the morning, we used to go to the cemetery or to the grave, also to the church, and pray. After that, we used to meet us in my grandma's house with my uncles and all my relatives and siblings there, and talk about the person to is dedicated the altar, all the good things that the person was doing in life, all the the nice moments that we used to have together, the learnings that we got from them. And so I think that this is a very nice, very interesting way to remember the loved ones that are not anymore with us. So yeah, that's the way we keep a millennial tradition to remember the loved ones, and that they already finished their mission in this planet, but we keep them in our heart and in our memory. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Monica. Now, can we give some feedback to Monica on the chat? Okay.
Before we go to the evaluation section, should we take a 5-minute break?
Yeah.
And then maybe, they'll get some time as well. Delma and Monica will get time to prepare for the evaluation. Let's come back at 9:15, 5 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
At a quarter, how long?
For 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yes.
8:45.
Yes, 8:45. Yes.
Okay, grand.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your speech. It was very interesting and informative. It was well structured. You give us information, very interesting information about the oceans and the big mammals in the oceans. I didn't know that the tongue was so long from the blue whale. Also, you have a good voice and volume, and you use your hands. So that was very good. I noticed that you improved that way on the body language. Also, the structure of the speech was very good. So, giving the introduction with the importance of the oceans, then going to the importance of the plankton as well, and how the ocean impacts in the generation of the oxygen for all the planet. 80% is a very big number. And yeah, in your conclusion, you involve also the how the before the conclusion, how the plastic is affecting this generation of oxygen, and the new technology used to achieve the zero plastic wasting. So I think it was very good structured in general, well delivered. I think you definitely engage the audience, and say well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. So over to me.
Okay, I will introduce Thelma to evaluate Monica's speech.
Okay.
Over to you, Thelma.
Thank you. Well, as I wrote in my feedback, most of all, when Monica spoke, I began to develop a picture of what she was describing, how each piece she described was another addition to what they had on the altar that they were preparing to celebrate and remember their dead. And then she began to describe the kind of food and the baking they did, which had kind of aromas as well attached to it. And the marigolds, on the petals on the altar, and the tissue on the walls became a very colorful picture. She was painting this picture for me, and it gradually built up layer by layer. When she was describing how, towards the end, as she moved along, how then everyone got together and talked about good times and memories of the person who had died. As I wrote again, I became curious about, what was that like? Were people sad? How was that time together with the family? But in general, the overall sense of what you described, Monica, was very vivid and colorful, and brought me along with you. You brought me along with you in your description. Yeah, I think that's about everything I want to say. Yep.
Thank you very much, Thelma.
Yeah.
Great evaluations by both of you. I think it was a good standard. You probably would have seen that how you have improved from the last time that you did. I think there is a great improvement actually. So you put in more thought and more elaborate descriptions of the evaluation. So that's really great. Thank you very much. Now we go to the next part, which is discussing about the next session. So we started off with the icebreaker in the first session, which was on, actually the first session we did not have icebreaker, it was just introduction. That was 3rd May. And then the 10th May we had the icebreaker session. So you did the speech then. And on 17th, we had the vocal variety, right? And then we had the body language. And the next thing now is powerful words. That is the topic. I can just share the screen. Do you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So a quick look about the powerful words. How are the words used? What kind of words do we use? So mainly there are four different kinds. That is literal, figurative, informational, and inspirational. The literal language is a conversational style that we do. Figurative, creative and original thought, or make an emotional impact. And figurative would also mean painting the picture, as Delma, you were saying about Monica's speech. So it is actually giving very vivid descriptions of what we want to say. Then informational is as it says on the tin, it is about instruction. And it is again literal language there. And then we have the inspirational. And inspirational could actually be in a humorous way as well and entertaining as well. And it's more in line with the figurative language because we are giving more description of what we want to say. So if you want to actually break it into very simple, powerful words, it's literal and figurative. Literal is more towards the informational side and figurative is more towards the inspirational side, which can have humor and entertaining elements to it as well.
Mesh, can I just come in there for a second?
Please, yeah.
Yeah, just to say, I thought Delma's speech tonight especially had some really good examples of figurative speech. She had some metaphors and some very vivid descriptions, features, I thought. So, you know, more examples of that, like they really connect with people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And I would say Monica's as well, I think in terms of giving the details of how the decoration was being done. It was like giving us really a picture of what was happening. Absolutely.
I thought Delma's speech was informational because he was giving like a numbers and I mean, how the percentage used the ocean generates oxygen and some research about tools to clean the ocean. So how can you mainly difference between these two figurative and informational speeches?
Yeah, so figurative was when she was describing about the whale. You remember the size of the whale? She was saying that the tongue is like an elephant and all those metaphors, you know. You remember that part of her speech when she was describing the whale?
Yeah.
That's figurative there. And then, as you said, there is informative as well.
I think that
you can have both in a speech then.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Generally, it will be a combination of many elements. So, but
I think that's an important point that.
Yeah, please go ahead, Siobhan. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's an important point that you can have both in a speech, and there's an important place for both. Like sometimes something being said very, very simply and very directly can be the most appropriate thing to do. But sometimes a really what's going to connect with the audience more. So they're decisions that you kind of have to make. And a mix of both is definitely what works best, because I think a speech would be too what's the word? I don't know what's the word. Too much if it was figurative speech. The audience needs a break from that as well, and they need certain details pointed out explicitly to them. So it's to have that balance.
Yeah, absolutely. And it creates the variety as well, I would say. That brings in the variety. I think it's variety that people are really looking for. As usual, I think in anything, whatever we do, we look for a bit of variety in that. Even if it is something related to cuisine, for example, just an example. If we eat the same cuisine every day, we get bored of it. So we try some varieties of cuisines, and it creates a little bit of interest. It's similar to that. I think it's like when we are speaking, we are serving something. Just like in a restaurant, if you're going to a restaurant, we are getting served different types of food. So when we are speaking, we are serving our words, our emotions, our connection with the audience, our knowledge. We are the story. That's the most important thing. Each and every one of us is a living story. And we have our own unique stories that we can share to the world and inspire the world literally through our words. I think that's what speaking is all about, really. It's sharing our unique perspective of the world to everyone and inspiring them in our own way, in our own unique way. So yeah. And these are just the tools that we have to do that, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else on this slide? This is a good way of understanding what kind of words we can use in our speech. What is the next one here? Yeah, so this is a powerful words. How it is a powerful words. This is all taken from the material that you already have. I hope you're going through the material. Are you going through the material? Is it in the site, in the Speechcraft portal? So all this is there. So what kind of words can be used? Neutral, positive, or negative? And then active and passive sentences that can be used while we are speaking, while we are giving the speech. And each of those ways of saying have their own importance. And then again, the figurative part here, like the woman pounded on the door while urging the shattered pieces of her calm to stay together as wind rattled the windows and sent debris around the yard. Look at this sentence there. It has got so much figurative speech in that. See, a woman pounding on the door while urging the shattered pieces of her calm to stay together as wind rattled the windows and sent debris. These things, I think it actually, to a certain extent, it is a talent as well to have those kind of figurative ways of describing the things. Some people have a natural inbuilt talent for doing that, and some people have to work on it a little bit more. But I think everyone can do that. If you just put in our effort, we can do that. And this is what we were talking about in the last session as well, about the vocal variety. So if you look at he is a current world champion. 2021 is yet to happen. It has not happened yet. So that's why he's still the current world championship of public speaking, Mike Carr. So the way he uses the word and the way he uses the vocal variety and the way he uses the body language, everything is amazing. You can probably have a look at this. I can search for Mike Carr. It's quite an amazing speech. And then the impact of the word choice, verbs, adjectives, what kind of words we want to use. I think that's it. So the main thing here is, in terms of powerful words, it's this one. The literal, figurative, informational, and inspirational. So literal is more informational and figurative is inspirational, humorous, entertaining, all those. Any questions on that? And also, I think, Thelma, you were saying that the next Monday was probably not suitable, is it? Was that your...
Well, it's a bank holiday. I wondered, was everyone available?
I won't be able to make it on the bank holiday either.
Okay. So should we go for Wednesday then? Because Tuesday we have the meeting, Athlone Toastmasters meeting.
Okay.
Would that be okay with you as well, Thelma? Is it Wednesday? If it's 7, it will be better, I would say.
I'm just having a look. I know I'm the one who raised it. Wednesday, I have another meeting I have to be at.
We could probably do Thursday then.
I'm sorry. I often, you see, I have sessions booked in the evening for clients, you know, and I regularly see people. I'll go back to, we're traveling up from the country because we have a house in Lismore, but I'll make sure we're back on time. If Anna can't come, though, that's an issue.
It's up to you, whatever is convenient. That will be a last session.
I can make sure we're back on the Monday. I'm back on the Monday.
8 o'clock, is it?
Yeah, for
and 8 o'clock.
Yeah. I just wondered, were you going to go ahead?
If you remember, we actually started on a bank holiday as well, strangely enough.
Yeah.
The 3rd May was a bank holiday as well. And we are ending on a bank holiday again.
Is that our last meeting or what?
Yeah.
That's our last meeting.
So that would be the last one, yes.
Okay.
So in this last speech, we're going to try to use all the things that we have learned so far.
Absolutely. Vocal variety, body language, powerful words, selection of topics, absolutely everything.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have to prepare topics for next week.
Yeah, if you're okay with that, Thelma.
Sure.
That would be great.
I think it's the best.
We can get some topics from you.
Yeah, the best thing to do. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
So next Monday, right?
We'll go for the general evaluation. Caroline, if she was there, she would have done it, but she has some issue with the computer.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll hand over to Anna for the general evaluation. Thank you
very much. Mesh, can you hear me well? My internet connection is quite unstable.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, super. Well, thank you very much. Then our meeting tonight started just a few minutes late. Delma, as our Toastmaster of the day, did fabulously. She welcomed us all and swiftly proceeded to invite our topics master to the stage. Monica, as our topics master, took over from Delma and quickly delved into the topics. Siobhan's answer was intriguing and delivered superbly. I don't know how you do it, Siobhan, but you answer your topics as if you'd rehearsed the answers before. It's fantastic. Somesh, your answer was well worded and rich in lovely descriptive adjectives. It was not only true, but also informative. I think we all learned something from your answer. Delma, yours was deep and thought-provoking. I fully agree with your words. I especially loved the phrase you used, to be like a wise parent to ourselves. I'm definitely going to keep that one. We didn't have an official timer, but the timing for topics was generally spot on, with most people giving their answers within the 2 minutes. There was one add-on by Siobhan, and it also fitted within the given time frame. Monica wrapped up the topics within the given time, and she passed the virtual gavel on to Delma, who introduced the speeches, who then passed it on to Samesh, who introduced Delma's speech, but it all flew really nicely and smoothly. Since we didn't have that timer, like I mentioned, it was difficult to keep track of the time, and as a result, by the time the speeches ended, we were about 10 minutes behind. We also took a 5-minute break to give our evaluators some time to work on their evaluations, which I think was well planned by Samesh, so thank you very much. Delma was very prompt and on time as Toastmaster of the day. She was ready to restart our meeting exactly at 8:45. However, we had to wait an additional minute or two for some of our members to rejoin before doing so. Monica's evaluation was well done, and it was 2 minutes long, which was perfect. She thanked and congratulated Delma. She commented on the content of her speech, as well as the delivery method. Monica gave over 5 positives, and she ended on a positive note, which is superb. So great job, Monica. Delma's evaluation was just over 2 minutes, which was also perfect. She delved deep into her own experiences while listening to Monica's speech. She described the content of Monica's speech, which painted a lovely picture for her. Delma, you gave a number of positives, and you did a fabulous job on this evaluation. I would have loved it if someone would evaluate my speech like that. Congratulations. After our evaluations had finished, Samesh swiftly moved on to the next point on our agenda. All in all, every participant was engaged in the meeting throughout, I found, and everyone vigorously applauded all speeches and evaluations. So well done, everyone. Congratulations. And hopefully we will finish on time and get that point ticked off our list as well. Thank you very much. Back on to you, Samesh.
Thank you very much, Anna, for a thorough general evaluation. And because this is not a normal Toastmasters meeting, we are not following that standard format. But we still have some kind of format which is similar to that. We don't have the exact Toastmasters club meeting format here. The main reason of Speechcraft is for the Speechcrafters to practice the skills, basically. And that's what we have to emphasize here when we are doing these sessions, that you get all the time to practice your skills. Because the most important thing is that we learn by doing. Now, we could read books for ages and ages, but that's not doing, that is reading. The actual implementation starts when we actually start doing things. And I think that's what we are trying to do here. We're trying to, I really want to give a huge round of applause to you both, in terms of the dedication. I think we should all give, in terms of the dedication from the beginning. This is the 5th week we are in now, and next week will be the last week. And you have given consecutive speeches, you have done evaluations, and this meeting, you have taken the roles as well. So it's really great that you're fully engaged in this process. I think that's the best way to learn. If you're engaged, if we participate, if you're enthusiastic, if you're determined, we go until the end and we learn. And I think that's what we are doing through these sessions. So thank you so much for attending this 5th session, and let's meet next Monday at 8 o'clock then. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Everyone. Thank you, everyone.
And congratulations, girls.
Congratulations.
Bye-bye.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
Good evening.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.